So I'm going to talk about role of carbohydrates, healthy diet, and today is episode I think 4. This is the series of skin and healthy diet, but this is not only focused on skin. Healthy diet means it will work on your physical and mental well-being as well. So we're just gonna take it that way. When we talk about diet, or I kind of see, I mean, we do a weight loss clinic through Skinzo, and as a part of my normal medical work, we see many patients anyway, where weight is a problem. And I think as for myself as well, I think we always have to be careful that how do we want to see ourselves as well. So whenever I talk about weight, I usually focus on maintaining weight rather than losing weight or gaining weight. You can put yourself at any spectrum of that line, that if you want to lose weight, then you need to pick up the same thing. If you want to gain weight, it's the same thing. So what is the main core? The main core is you need to understand how, you need to have a little bit more knowledge about what you're eating. So it's not how much you're eating sometimes. It's important what you are eating and how that is breaking down into your body, and what is the end result you're achieving. So sometimes people just focus on the start, and they forget that yes, you've picked up something, but if you don't know where exactly this is going to go in your body, then you will not achieve your goal. So that is one of the commonest reasons why people struggle with weight loss, and even if they even if they kind of achieve the targeted weight, they struggle to maintain it. So I think that's the reason of me to kind of create the series, to have to become more friendly with our food. You need to know what is it, why do you need it, and and when you're going through different types, different problems in life, or when you're going through different difficulties in life, you need to be careful that certain specific phases of your life may demand a little bit different type of diet as well. And then during that period of time, if you're not going to focus on the need of your body, you will either exhaust the energy levels, or you will just kind of end up into eating more. So it's like a catch-22. That's why this is really important. Carbohydrates, what are carbohydrates? So carbohydrates are the major component of food. They are the building block of our body, and they're the main fuel area. So which means that carbs is like, when we say the building block, which means that if you're making a house, then there is the more you put in the foundation, the better results you're going to have. So that's what the carbohydrates are. They're kind of linking with everything. Now, just like any other, there are goods and there are bad carbohydrates. So that's where we need to understand that what type of carbohydrate we need to pick up. So we divide that into sugar, into starch, and fiber. So if you see then that yes, I need a building block, but if I'm picking up the sugar building block, where my body definitely needs a little bit of that for the natural process, where exactly the rest is going to go. So similarly is with the starch and with the fiber. So if you kind of then break the carbohydrates down into these 3 categories, and whenever you're picking something up, just kind of focus that way. This will just help you to choose the better carbohydrate for you. Okay. So now when we talk about sugars, that I've already discussed about the glycemic index, picking up the food and what happens at the end result. So I'm not going to touch that. If anybody wants to know, just go back into the previous episode of the series. So the sugars are really tricky. So the most important thing for you to understand in that is, are we talking about the refined sugars or the unrefined sugars? The difference is that there is nobody who can have no sugar. So sugar is naturally present in our food and naturally present in a lot of products as well. So which means that whatever you're picking, you're not picking no sugar. So you're just going for the minimum sugar, or the raw sugar, which I call it, rather than the one which is refined, which means which is processed. When we say process, it makes the sugar more complicated, and the end result is actually worse than how we actually thought. So that's a little bit of a background of that. The total requirement of carbohydrates. So if you're somebody whose daily requirement of calorie requirement is like 2000 units, so you need something like 900 to 1300 units of carbohydrates in a day. Now, this is roughly about 45 to 65% of your food. So you see that if you're not having that, you will feel what exactly is going to happen to you? You will feel tired, you will feel your energy levels are kind of going down faster, and you will feel irritable. And when people say, well, I'm having a hypoglycemic effect and things like that, because your sugar levels are dropping down. And that's where your body is saying, well, I've kind of exhausted whatever you've given me, and I need some extra, kind of this buzz thing. I need this boost effect. So many people during that time, then they in that carb zone, they just go onto the sugar zone. So that's really important for you to understand that. And hi everyone. So that's really important for you to understand that. So for example, like the natural sugar, which is fructose, is present in fruits. So if you're having a fruit, you are actually having sugar as well. Yes, you may not have that because it's not a complex sugar. So you're not going to have a straight away buzz feeling if you're having a strawberry as compared to you're having a cake, because that is a more complex molecule, the combined sugars, and that is kind of giving you this collusion effect rather than the true sugar effect in your body. So if you just kind of try and understand that, then you can pick up, when your body is demanding sugar and things, you can pick up from the natural resources as well. Okay. Now, other thing is that the sugary stuff are just not cakes. What exactly happens is that the carbohydrates present, the starchy food, they are also going to break down into sugar, and this is also from the fiber as well. So everything is broken down into all of these components which your body is keeping. What happens is that your body then try to maintain these energy resources. So as a result, it's like a bit of a backlog. It just keeps it behind. It does not give you everything. Sorry, I'm just having a bit of a sore throat as well at the same time. So then in the situation where you feel that you're exhausting your energy, your body is then breaking down the stores. So if you have more fat in your body, this means you have an extra store overload already. So then you have to limit. So when you're limiting, because it's like a bit of a habit reversal as well, then your body needs an instant thing. So that's basically, you just have to go through your mind and pick up and replace that thing, and your body will definitely break down the stored area, and you will get enough from there. Okay, so it does not mean that you're not going to have that feeling at all. You will, but you have to kind of you have to learn to just to bear with that feeling a little longer rather than getting impatient. That's important. Okay, so let's talk about the low carb diet, which is very common nowadays. Before I touch that, let me tell you what exactly happens when you eat carbs. So when you eat carbs, they're broken down into glucose. Now, from the stomach, of course, this needs to kind of go and get absorbed in your body. Your body has got natural insulin, which picks up this and then takes it to cells. Now, before it goes there, it's going into your bloodstream. So from that blood stream, that sugar travels in your body. This is something what we call a blood sugar level. So people who suffer with diabetes or suffer with other heart conditions, or they have high cholesterol in your blood, then you see that there is a lot more sugar you're just having purely by eating it. So that will combine and increase your background level of the blood glucose. That's important. Similarly, when people are going through certain hypoglycemic attacks, then we actually give them carbs, because that's going to break down into sugar, and that will stay a little bit longer in their body. So if you're diabetic, then yes, you need to make sure that even if you're on low carb diet, you have to keep something which, if suddenly your sugar levels drop, you need to eat it to release that instant sugar. Otherwise that can, that hypoglycemic attack can be a life threatening kind of a condition as well. So always keep that. However, the new research has proven and shown that through the low carb diet, you can reverse a lot of diabetes. And that's purely because you are kind of controlling the end product of whatever you're eating. Not the amount, but the quantity, not the amount, sorry, but the end result. So if you can control that, then if automatically the release of sugar in your blood will be less, and that will not that will not travel to other organs on the body. So like in diabetes, because it can affect your liver, your kidneys, your eyes, it can affect everything. Similarly, in high blood pressure and most of these chronic conditions, the knock-on effect is similar. So that's a little bit of a background. Now, how we can pick and choose. So as I've already mentioned, we divide that into sugar, starch, and fiber. So sugar, let's pick that up. If I'm having, so I love low carb diet. I usually stay on low carb for quite some time, and I do mix and match. But what I do is if I've eaten a little bit, I wouldn't say bad carb, but if I've eaten a carb which has given me a lot more sugar, then the next meal or next thing, I will be going into picking those ones which is going to give me very less, just to kind of balance it out. I did mention that last time because people did ask me about the calories and how they do it. I don't personally do that for myself. And I don't try and make this way for my clients in my weight loss clinic either, because it's quite difficult to kind of, balance or kind of monitor how much calories you're having it every day. So I tend to kind of add on what you should be eating and how you should be picking up or choosing the food. And usually the result is the same. So I like to do it that way. It gives me a lot more freedom for myself, and my clients feel better as well. So example, if you are, we do make a full plan, daily plan, what they should be eating and all of that anyway. That's a bit separate. So how do you kind of choose? So for example, sugar. So if you're having berries, now I've already mentioned that there is natural sugar present in there. But if I'm going to blend that, put that into juicer, that natural sugar is now broken down into multiple molecules. So that will certainly increase the surge of sugar. So then you have to be careful in picking up the smoothies or kind of making shakes and things like that as well. As compared to if you're having it just, we call it raw form. So raw form is always better. In terms of picking from the starch, so like potatoes, they are quite starchy, food. Now they do give you a lot of instant energy. However, they stay longer in your body as well. So you need to be careful. Again, in the last video, I did mention about, how you could replace from French fries to maybe, a sweet potato, and how exactly you can calculate it. So go back to that video as well. That will make more sense what I'm talking right now. I just don't want to repeat that over and over. So picking that things up, you're replacing the amount, you're just replacing one to another. That's what you're doing, not kind of stopping it completely. Similarly, in terms of vegetables, the rule of thumb is that the vegetables which are root vegetables, so basically all of those which are under the ground, they usually are rich in carbs. And you just have to avoid those ones because the breakdown in the end product would be very high sugar in your body, and you're going to struggle to lose weight. So all of the the vegetables which are which are not root vegetables, they're better, and they don't have high carbs in them. So something like broccoli, bell peppers are really good. Squash is quite good. So when you're picking a vegetable, it does not mean that any vegetable is good for you, or you will lose weight that way. So just pick the root and the non-root vegetables. Similarly, with the with the fruits as well. So there are many fruits which are rich in sugar. So when you're having that, that will break down further and give you worse end products. So which is going to have a knock-on effect on the overall requirement of carbs you're having. So that's a little bit of a background. So low carb diet is really good, as I've already mentioned. If you suffer with high blood pressure, you suffer with heart conditions, or you suffer with diabetes or high cholesterol, or you're somebody like me, we have a high risk, genetic risk of having all of these conditions. So you have to be careful taking those anyways. Unfortunately, most of our diet is rich with carbs. Breads, they are, even if it's, yes, white bread is worse, but even if you replace it with a whole meal, it has still got more fiber, but that is better to choose it. One other thing is that if you are making a diet plan for your teenagers or your children, they need more carbs. So this means that you're going to pick the better carb and give them this building block rather than stopping the carb completely, because you are going to restrict their growth. Somebody like me, what I do is, this was another question, somebody wanted me to share my diet. So what I can do is, I'm restarting in a way that I had a bit of I wasn't very well, so I kind of stopped a bit of a diet plan for myself, and I'm restarting in a week's time. And that's low carb. I always go on to low carb, but I eat very healthy anyway. If I'm not on low carb, I still eat very healthy. And I'm happy to share my daily diet plan. If that suits anybody, please pick it up. Sometimes one of the downside is people want a buddy. They want somebody who they can do it. So we can start this a bit of a diet challenge, and you can join this and feel free and post what you eat, and you can just send it to us, and we are happy to kind of share it on our page as well, which will then encourage other people to do the same. Other stuff is sugar stuff is also common in soft drinks, so it's important. Also, when you're taking these energy boost drinks as well, and sports drinks as well, there's a lot of sugar in that as well. So you're having a buzz effect, but you're not having it's not very healthy. So energy drinks, you have to be careful. Also, in most of these energy drinks, we will talk about this later, but there's so many other ingredients present in them as well, which can actually increase your heart rate. And many people can have palpitations. It can give you severe headaches as well. So people who suffer with migraines and things, you have to be careful. And they can also make you dehydrated, so which can then mimic all the same cycle. So just be careful. You cannot replace water with anything. And you can always make the detox water, which I've already mentioned, and we can talk different types, other types of detox water, which literally you can make at home. They're easy, they're cheap as well, and they're really good for your health. Milk. So milk is something which is important. Milk is rich in carbs. So yes, milk is a good source of calcium and vitamin B. We all need that. However, there is something which is really important for you to understand, that milk also has lactose. So people who have lactose intolerance, milk is not a good thing for you. So again, lactose intolerance, we have partial or full lactose intolerance. So partial is that people can handle some type of dairy products, but they can't handle everything. So if you're somebody like this, then maybe going on to maybe kind of avoiding milk is better, because that lactose is going to break down into your body, and that is sugar as well. People can have really bad stomach problems, and pain and diarrhea to constipation, and this physical effect, and that can also have a knock-on effect on your irritable bowel as well, so be careful with that. What else? So the complex sugars, complex carbohydrates are those ones. That was another question with my last one. The complex carbohydrates are those ones where multiple sugar molecules are kind of combined together. So when you are then having those ones, which means that cakes and things, they are the complex carbs, which basically are the table sugars. Then they're going to break down not into one type, but they're going to break down into multiple types. Now, the other thing is that in the past, there was too much problem with fatty liver. And well, nowadays as well, but in the past, it was more purely linked with the alcohol related fatty liver. And nowadays the non-alcohol fatty liver is a big threat. And it is quite common in Asian people as well, and that's purely because of the obesity, because of the fat which we are keeping. So going on to the low carb diet, because we can never say no carb diet, will certainly help you as well. So that's just a bit of a background of the carb. In the coming episode, I will be talking how you can make a plan of a low carb diet, and in a day, you know, which one you can choose just purely from the which one you can choose just purely from the just slipped my mobile slip from that plan. So until I see you next time, stay safe and enjoy your weekend.